Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and I am back with EmpireKas versus LiquidZenio. Now, I actually have just casted the first 10 minutes of this game, and I was not live. Because fuck you, XSplit. It told me I was live. Nonetheless, though, we are going to have EmpireKas spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Tal'Darim Altar, and LiquidZenio spawning on the top right of Tal'Darim Altar. Now, both these players are really big breakout players as of late. EmpireKas is from is from Europe. He is a European player who tends to like doing a lot of, I wouldn't necessarily say turtle play, but a lot of defensive play. He does like to get a lot of bunkers up on his front just because that allows him to live, really, until the late game. It's not that much of an extra investment for him. And he doesn't necessarily just sit back and turtle up and just sit on 2 base. He will move out, he will still do attacks, but he does have those bunkers a lot of time back to defend, to allow him just to live into the mid game. Because if you can't live to the mid game, well then you're going to really find yourself wishing you had laid down that extra bunker or those extra cannons somewhere along the way. In the meantime, we do have LiquidZenio once again up here in the top right as our red Zerg player. Another really big Zerg player out of Europe. But once again, both these players just not too big of a deal up until the last couple of months, and suddenly he is just amazing, just doing very, very well in all of his tournaments. And I believe this is from the IEM Global Cup or something like that. Something akin to that. And we do see LiquidZenio taking a 15 hatch here. And that's about the earliest you can go. And against Terran, it's normally fairly safe. You just have to be careful of any sort of bunker pressure. Make sure you get your pool down fairly quickly afterward. We do see EmpireKas taking this quick gas, maybe to get a reactor or a tech lab down on his barracks fairly quickly. But we do see LiquidZenio getting this extractor up right after getting that hatchery. That's just going to allow him to get his metabolic boost out right as that spawning pool finishes. It's a very nice little timing build, and it just allows you to get earlier map control. Make sure you can run around if there's any sort of bunker play or early Hellions coming down onto the field. The speed Zerglings really do help defend against that. We do have, once again, this barracks over here. Nothing really being dropped down on that yet, so it looks like we might be seeing a factory instead. And indeed, there goes the factory right next to that barracks. Probably going to have a reactor on that barracks to switch that off with the factory to get reactored Hellions out. Not as popular of a build as it used to be. Ever since that blue flame nerf, a lot of players have kind of abandoned it. That is not to say, however, that it is unused. It's just that a lot of Zerg players have also learned how to deal with it, and it makes it a little bit less of an effective strategy. But it's still very nice for keeping a Zerg player contained, making sure they don't try to macro up onto 3 base super quickly, or just it makes sure that they can't just pump out drones continuously, because they do have to make some sort of defense against those Hellions. And now we do see EmpireKas responding with an expansion of his own, which is always a good way to go ahead and counter an expansion of your opponent. We are seeing a spine crawler go down on the front of Zenio's base. Now, I don't know if he's actually seen this reactored factory yet. I don't think he has, as this Zergling is just now coming down across the map to scout Kas's base. We'll see this command center going up, though. We'll see that this factory does have a reactor on it, so he will be able to amply prepare against that. And actually, knowing that there are reactored Hellions on the field, I don't necessarily like the placement of this spine crawler. I feel like it should be up just a little bit more to try to hamper Hellions coming up the ramp here. In this position, it just looks like it'd be easy for Hellions to come up around the top and try to sneak their way in along this little ridge line here, maybe come up from the 3rd base and down and around. And even with this queen placement right here, still, they're not just going to sustain all that much damage. Could definitely do a run by into the main. However, Zenio knows what he's doing, and there are only 2 Hellions on the field right now. There we go, getting a 2nd queen up here. That's much better of a defense than just that single queen, and actually even dropping a 2nd spine crawler. So now Zenio definitely knows what's going on. Definitely getting a little bit better of a defense up there at his natural. In the meantime, we do see EmpireKas is beginning to secure an expansion of his own. Does have an expansion finished now and getting this 3rd command center in his base. I really like this play. Really popularized by MVP, I think it was, quite a while back. Just allows a Terran player to stick up with the production, the harvester production capabilities of a Zerg player on 2 base with that larva inject. allowing him to get the extra mule, extra SCV out. And it really does help keep the Terran player even and in the game. Never want to fall too far behind in that harvester count. So far, we don't really have all that much gas coming out of either of our players, though. We don't have any gas being mined by LiquidZenio, actually sitting on 0 perfectly even after that metabolic boost was finished. And getting a second extractor, but once again, just now starting to revamp his gas production. It doesn't look like these Hellions are going to be able to roast away at quite a bit of these Lings. Lings getting a very nice surround on that creep. Never wanted to try to engage those Zerglings on the creep as they are just so fast. But it does look like the Hellions are going to be able to clean this up. It's going to be kind of a close call there, but indeed the Hellions are going to be able to get away nice and tight. These Zerglings just are sick of being roasted up. And really a pretty even trade there. That's just something Zenio really needed to do to be able to break out of his base and try to take us third at some point in time. EmpireKas, on the other hand, sitting back, just kind of happy, is behind just a little bit in supply count, but once again, that is definitely to be expected with that larva inject. Actually has taken his factory off of the reactor now and putting a barracks back down on it, getting stim, getting a starport for his bio army. He does love to do a lot of biological play, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw, yep, a lot more barracks down right there, up to four racks and a starport, and even dropping a reactor on this factory. Probably switch that out with the starport to start getting double medevac production out of. In the meantime, we do just see a lot of Zerglings out for LiquidZenio, a macro hatch just to give him a little bit of extra production power, and a Baneling nest actually on the way as well. He hasn't really teched up all that much, just now getting his lair finished up down in his natural expansion. Kind of an interesting place for the lair. But just now getting his lair tech up, that seems like it's a little bit late into the game. Centrifugal hooks for those Banelings will allow those Banelings to move a little bit faster. 4 Banelings being morphed in right there in the center of his main, getting the double upgrades, that melee attack, which will allow Banelings to do just a little bit more damage. And I believe it's 2 melee attacks allow the Banelings to kill workers in 1 hit, which is very important if you're planning on sticking with any sort of Baneling play. Down here over in Kasa's base, we're seeing that he's beginning to even up this supply count, just producing a lot out of his barracks as he was earlier. Tech Lab going down on the factory, so maybe looking to get into some siege tank production, which would definitely be helpful against this Baneling Zergling composition, as siege tanks are pretty much a necessity to be able to counter a lot of Banelings. Just able to kill them. Banelings only having 30 health, go down very quickly to siege tank fire. And now dropping his third base, trying to drop his third base, a little bit of Hellion harassment going on there. And it does look like he's going to be able to be a pest for a little bit, trying not to use his Banelings. Zenio wants to hold those as long as he can, but he might be forced to. He might even lose a Baneling here. That would be kind of annoying for him, but no, indeed does manage to pull that out. These Hellions are not going to be able to do any damage whatsoever to this hatchery, and now EmpireKas has taken quite the lead in this game in the supply count, 110 to 89. Over in the harvester count, we do see 62 to 53, so actually Kas having kind of a nice lead on the harvester count for a moment until these 22 drones pop. And suddenly it's 65 to 75 harvesters in Zenio's favor. I think I am finally just about back up to the point that I was before I noticed that the cast was not live anymore, so we're almost to stuff that I haven't seen yet. Fortunately, cancel all these creep tumors. That's just kind of annoying for this queen. She has got to be pissed. She puts her blood, sweat, and tears into laying those creep tumors down. And what does she get in return? Absolutely nothing. A lot of Baneling Zergling on the field once again, starting to get siege tanks out on the field. No siege tech as of yet, not even being researched yet. That could prove to be fatal if Zenio does indeed decide to move in at some point. A lot of Baneling Zergling on the field once again, really suddenly just ramping up his supply, just making so many units, even getting some Mutalisks out onto the field. We do see 6 Mutalisks, 4 Banelings, and 27 Zerglings on the field. A lot of drones, 81 drones on the field. Need to make sure to stop producing drones because it's going to get to the point where that's going to make his army count suffer. I do like this little bit of a supply depot wall here. Better for the Zerglings and Banelings to hit the supply depots than nothing else, unless you're just going to go outside the wall instead and lose your army. Now, siege tech once again has not even begun. I think that might be an error by EmpireKas, as that is really bad. There we go. I guess it's about 20 seconds in, but he's got to wait to move out until he gets that siege check. He's got to really hope that Zenio also decides not to engage, because once again, siege tanks so pivotal in defending against Zergling Baneling right now, and it looks like Zenio is going to come in and try to be able to pick off a couple SCVs, maybe try to pick off a siege tank. The Zergling Baneling waiting outside the third base. Now the Mutalisks are flying around, just kind of doing nothing, just letting Koss know that he is there, and it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing the engagement here. Zergling streaming in first, kind of getting in the way of the Banelings. The Banelings hit the tanks only. I don't think the Banelings got a single Marine hit, and now it's going to force the Mutalisks to fly out and try to do a little bit of harassment over at the third base instead, but absolutely no damage done by Zenio there. Doesn't really hurt him or hamper him too much, but he did lose a very, very big window of opportunity with the siege tech not being done yet. 170 to 148 supply, and now EmpireKas thinks that it's a good time to move out, and that is exactly what he's going to be doing, taking the side watchtower, beginning to move up across the map. Zenio desperately trying to secure a fourth base right now. He could definitely use the extra hatchery just to be able to keep up with the production of EmpireKas, who has so many barracks on the field. That is 8 barracks on the field, most of them with reactors, another one being made, one more command center being made. There are barracks everywhere. We do see EmpireKas just looking for expansions at 1-1 upgrades to LiquidZenio's 1-1 as well. So very even in the upgrade count. The Mutalisks actually have 1 air upgrade as well. Now getting a Thor out on the field to try to deal with those Mutalisks. Does manage to take out that watchtower. Now sieging up on the high ground to be able to take out Zenio's fourth base, and he does force the cancel on that. That's just going to be very, very annoying for LiquidZenio. It looks like Zenio might be looking to try to cut EmpireKas off or something here, as he is in kind of a peculiar position on the map, flying his Mutalisks up here. It looks like he might want to try to pick off a siege tank. Just, I don't know exactly where these Mutalisks are going. They're kind of going in the opposite direction. Oh, there is a drop over here at the third base, trying to come back and defend against that. Needs a Mutalisk to be able to kill off the medevac. And the Zerglings trying to get a little bit of damage here, but very, very nice positioning by EmpireKas is going to disallow the surround by the Zerglings. And now there we go, able to take out that drop, able to take out all the Marines and the medevac that was supporting that drop. In the meantime, EmpireKas coming up here, looks like he might be looking to take a 5th base. Doesn't want to take kind of this, is taking this kind of awkward position right here with the command center. Might be looking to drop a 5th base up here at another point in time. We do have Burrow on the way, as well as Zerg melee attacks level 2. I don't know exactly what Burrow would be used for. Maybe the Infestors to try to come up behind mineral lines and do a little bit of economic damage here. Both players very, very even at this point. I'd actually give EmpireKas just a slight advantage at this point in time, because I do believe he has a little bit better of an army composition. With that Thor mixed in, really, really helps against the Mutalisks up in the air. And we're just seeing a lot of tier 1 and really not a lot of units out on the field. We do have 97 drones. We have 100 drones on the field. That is why I think that EmpireKas is a little bit ahead. That is 14 supply over his opponent. That really isn't doing anything for him. It gets to the point at about 75 drones that you're not really getting all that much extra income. We do have yet another drop over here at the 4th base of LiquidZenio, but it was not able to do too much damage. A couple of drones were killed, but not that much damage done. A couple of medevacs are sitting over the army right now. Might want to take out those with the Mutalisks, and indeed, that is what he's doing. I actually am having troubles finding the army for LiquidZenio. It's actually fairly small right now. It was down to about 170 for a moment there, and I mean, he's trying to re-macro it up. He should have the ability to re-macro it up. Actually, he has quite a bit in the bank. Should actually have some larvae somewhere around here. Doesn't look like we're going to be having a counterattack from LiquidZenio over into the 4th base of EmpireKas. But unfortunately for him, there is a planetary fortress here. SCV production being continued. Actually could use to stop that himself. 89 to 99 harvesters. Just needs to stop making harvesters. Both teams. Pardon me, but 4 more drones being spawned by LiquidZenio. A very, very macro-heavy game. Now the player really wanting to make the move on the map. We do have the scan going down from EmpireKas just to make sure there are no baneling bombs, to make sure that the Zerg player is not about to ambush him with anything. A little bit of siege up in the middle of the map here, just to be safe. It does look like the Zerg player might want to engage. No, deciding to back out instead after losing a few Zerglings. Knew that he couldn't quite engage that army. And now EmpireKas is going to be running up here to the 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if it's the 4th or the 5th. I'm going to call it the 4th, to the 4th base of LiquidZenio, stepping up to be able to take out this hatchery as quickly as he possibly can. And LiquidZenio is not going to be very happy about that. It looks like he's going to fall back and try to deal with this army. But there are just too many siege tanks up front, I feel, for LiquidZenio to be able to push in and do any sort of real damage. Actually, I think that he would benefit from sacking these drones right now, as there are just too many drones on the field. 94 drones, now dropping just a little bit. And once again, that drone count really just kind of hurting his army more than it is helping. We do have some Broodlords out onto the field now. No Vikings on the field to be able to deal with that. Marines are in range of these as well as the Thor. But getting a Fungal Growth down on those Marines, able to do quite a bit of damage to those with some Fungal Growth and the Broodlords. The Thor does go down now, and now these 3 Siege Tanks here are left all alone in the middle of the battle, trying to redrop some Marines to be able to take care of that, but there are just too many Mutilates and Broodlords over here, and I think that EmpireKas is going to lose what remained of his army over here on this little side. But back home, we do see that he has already remacroed up a small army, dropping a command center right here, probably to make that into a planetary fortress, just because he has so many extra minerals. I guess he could actually use to take a 5th as well, just to be safe. He's mined out at his main and at his natural for all intents and purposes. LiquidZenio is beginning to push up now, however. Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk, Infestor, a pretty powerful combination sitting around in the middle of the map now. And really, he is at a point where he could probably make a little bit of a push, just waiting for his Broodlords to catch up with his army, I feel. But EmpireKas quite a bit behind. If Zenio could actually catch all these SCVs, that'd be a very, very nice hit by him. But no, indeed, he is going to miss out on that opportunity, unfortunately. And a lot of Marines stepping up. Looks like they were going to steam up and try to take out the infested, but a couple of great fungal growths go down on the Marines. A lot of the Marines died to Baneling hits after the fungal growths were down, and now EmpireKas has lost so much of his army. 169 to 123 supply. A couple of Vikings are on the field now, but a fungal growth and some infested Terrans are dropped to deal with those, and now these Broodlords are taking free damage. But once again, the Vikings are going down very quickly to this infested Terran fire. Needed to make sure to focus fire, which indeed he did. And now we only have a few infestors, some Broodlords, and Banelings left on the field. This one Thor, just barely any health left, needs to fungal growth that medevac or something, just make sure to take it out. Does not want that to stay alive and get repaired at some point in time. This command center is morphing now into a planetary fortress. This one Thor with 38 now, the 38 health being repaired now as well. Oh, there it goes down from this Broodlord fire, dropping some infested Terrans now to deal with these Vikings, just to make sure that they cannot kill the Broodlords that are already dead. A nice little skirmish here from both players. Doesn't look like LiquidZenio did come out just a little bit on top in the supply count. In harvester count does show EmpireKas just a little bit ahead. So Zenio in a very, very nice position now in this game, getting more Zerglings and Banelings out onto the field, as well as flyer attacks and Carapace and Adrenal Glands. So we will be seeing cracklings in this game from LiquidZenio. I really, really like that call. For those of you who don't know, a little bit more rare of an upgrade. Adrenal Glands does allow the Zerglings to have 20% faster hit, 20% faster hit rate. So they just hit so fast, they can actually really ramp up their DPS. So they do just attack so quickly and do so much damage in such a little bit of amount of time. A few Banelings are rolling over here to do a little bit of nothing, seeing that there is no SCVs there for him to kill. He does wisely back out of that situation. Oh, pardon me, I have been yawning all over the place. Do have 6 more Broodlords being morphed in right now. So Vikings do once again come over, pick out the one Broodlord that was in play. Some more fungal growths going down on all his Marines. The Marines die almost instantly. Now some infested Terrans being dropped down to deal with these Vikings. In the meantime, though, the Broodlords are taking quite a bit of damage from these Vikings and this missile turret. Losing some Broodlords unnecessarily, I feel. These Zerglings trying to take care of the Thor. It's going to be kind of a close call, but indeed I think the Thor will live for just a brief moment until, no, indeed, the Broodlings do finish him off. And now killing the Sentry Tower as well, just for good measure, just to make sure that EmpireKas does not know when LiquidZenio is hitting. Now 182 to 113 supply, going heavily in favor of LiquidZenio at this point. Zenio sitting in a fairly good position. He's got to be happy with where he's at, trying to siege up this base over here for EmpireKas. EmpireKas losing a few Zerglings over here to the Broodlings from the Broodlords, taking out a lot of Thors with just Marine and infested Terran. Why do I keep yawning? I am actually not tired at all. A lot of Zerglings over here in the mineral line for EmpireKas, and that might indeed do it for him. He is down to 50 harvesters and is still losing some more. Might indeed lose his planetary fortress as well. Some Marines were trying to take out the infested Terrans here. However, the infested Terrans, the infestors were able to burrow and survive that engagement. Needs to get a scan here if he wants to be able to live, because that's a lot of infested Terrans that he could be able to take out for free practically. Taking out a lot of the Zerglings that were sieging up this planetary fortress. It did get down to about 250 health before it was saved by our Terran player Kos. The harassment does continue. 2 more Broodlords on the way, 3 more, 4 more, but one of them was taken out by this lone Viking. Needs to make sure to use this Corruptor, take that Viking as low as possible so that as little energy as possible is used, and actually being forced to cancel those Broodlords and fly away. Now EmpireKas making a little bit of a comeback at this point in the game. Very nice hardiness by EmpireKas, but he did lose a lot of mining capabilities in that previous engagement. once again trying to morph in Broodlords, but just not able to, as there was too many Vikings and Marines up here on the battlefront to attack. Oh my goodness. We do have LiquidZenio taking a bunch more bases now, taking 3 more bases pretty much simultaneously. EmpireKas in the meantime sitting around with a very heavy Bioball and some Vikings up in the air. Only 2 Vikings at the moment, trying to produce as many as he possibly can. 7 Vikings on the field somewhere there. There are 5 Vikings here now. And a lot of siege tanks coming out as well for EmpireKas. I really like that call. He's seen a lot of very heavy ground play out of LiquidZenio. There is no reason to stop siege tank production. Just needs to make sure to stay sieged when he is not moving his army, and to siege up before he sees his opponent attacking him, because if he sieges up too late, those Banelings are going to get all the hits they need on those Marines, and it might indeed be game over for him in that case. LiquidZenio sitting in a very nice position, getting once again this extra base up here ready. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will be base number 7 out of LiquidZenio. And we do see that he's falling quite a bit behind on his larva injects. Now just getting back around to getting the larva injects down on the hatcheries. Great Aspire is sitting in the back of the base, just missing a level 3 air attack and level 2 air carapace. Another engagement going on over here at the watchtower. A lot of infested Terrans being dropped down once again to try to deal with the Vikings. Kind of in a bad place, however. They are taken out by all the Marines, and now we're back even in this game, 161 to 172 supply. And the units lost time, we do see the Zerg player quite a bit behind, 33,000, 33.5 thousand to 27.7 thousand. So about 7. Oh my gosh, I can't do the math. I can't do the math. That looks like it'd be about 6,000 off in favor of our Herod player, actually. And with every moment that's passing, EmpireKas is getting closer and closer to being able to come back and win this game. Unfortunately, his unit very low on health. Will not take too much to be able to devastate this army of EmpireKas. A lot of Broodlords once again over here. 4 Broodlords, 5 Broodlords, with Zergling, Baneling on the field to be able to deal with these Marines. And I really feel that Zenio is going to need to make something happen at some point in time here. Once again, does go down to make sure no infestors are burrowed or Banelings are burrowed. Very nice fungal growth does go down on these Vikings, using some corruptors to be able to counter the Vikings, leaving the Broodlords in free reign up in the air. The Marines will not be able to stim past this ground force of LiquidZenio, and now trying to unsiege his tank and run back, but I think it is too late. It just looks like EmpireKas is going to be completely outnumbered in this engagement. The Broodlord's now coming up, losing all of his Marines to the Baneling fire under the fungal growth. And now LiquidZenio, that was kind of the comeback he needed to make. Needs to be able to push out across and try to take out his opponent. However, he just is not quite ready to make the killing blow yet, I suppose. We do have, it looks like what's going to be an Overlord drop of Zerglings going down to the 4th base, I believe. 4th base out of EmpireKas. I really like this strategy, however, it might be picked off by some Vikings, and indeed it is going to be picked off by Vikings. Almost a single volley. In fact, I think that was a single volley to be able to take out that Overlord. That Overlord had a very bad day, but it is 200 to 153 supply, very heavily in favor of LiquidZenio. Losing a couple of Overlords to these Vikings. They're not able to retaliate against this Queen, but it's not too big of a deal. Losing quite a few Overlords, but unfortunately for him, he did have quite a few extra Overlords, and actually just now getting supply block. A lot of Overlords dying, down to 196 over 160. That's actually really annoying for LiquidZenio. Just losing so many Overlords in that engagement. And one Viking was still going at it for just a little bit, but now indeed that Viking is going to be backing up. We do have a command center trying to take the 7th base of our Zerg player. I'm going to have to do some calisthenics or something after this game. It's just been so incredibly passive. It does look like we might be having an engagement down at one of the watchtowers down here. A couple of Broodlord shots going off on this army, but not even able to do the damage he needs to do. There are ghosts now in this army to be able to snipe away at those Broodlords, maybe EMP the infestors to stop the fungal growth. And we do see 79 to 67 harvesters. LiquidZenio definitely ahead in that count. He's kind of at that break-even point where that's just about the max number of units that you want without sacrificing your army value too terribly much, but at this point in the game, I do feel like Zenio could almost sack just a few of those runs just to make sure that he can keep up with EmpireKas' army. Do not want to fall at all behind in that right in a game versus such a good player. 178 to 198 supply. Broodlord now laying siege to some of these bases out in the middle of the map. A lot of ghosts out on the field right now. There are 14 ghosts on the field. That is a lot for those of you who don't know. And being able to pick one off with these Broodlords, that's a nice little moral victory there for LiquidZenio. Over here, though, we do have EmpireKas taking yet another base. It doesn't look like he is up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is right, I have to count. We are up to 6 base, to 7 base, going on 8 base. This command center still just kind of sitting next to this. Oh my goodness, he's morphing this command center into a planetary fortress. That's going to be really annoying for our Zerg player if that does indeed get up, but it does not look like it's going to. I think it's going to be taken out right before it does finish, and indeed, yes, it will be. Not even canceled by EmpireKas. He just did not notice it. Broodlords are trying to lay siege to this army over here, but it does indeed fail. Snipes going down on those at some point, I believe, and able to clean up that army. 133 to 119 supply. This has been a very, very back and forth game, and now we do have an Ultralisk Cavern just finishing up for our Zerg player, I think, or it was just starting and he canceled it. I'm not exactly sure which. I'm going to go ahead and look around for that for just a second here. But both players very, very well upgraded at this point in time. 3-3 for EmpireKas' infantry, 0-2 for his vehicles, 0 armor, 2 weapons. Quite a few medevacs and Vikings, a lot of Vikings on the field to be able to deal with those Broodlords. Very, very good choice to be able to deal with those Broodlords, do a lot of damage, and able to even pick off some of these Overlords, which is super, super annoying too, as well. Never want to lose too many Overlords. EmpireKas sieging up just a little bit preemptively here. Could probably use to move up just a little bit, losing almost yet another Overlord. Might lose this one, and indeed he does, and probably going to lose yet another. He's lost so many Overlords. What I need is an Overlord kill count. It doesn't look like these Ghosts do indeed try to push up, but they are fungal growth and drop some infested Terrans on. But this base is going to have to be evacuated by LiquidZenio, letting one Spine Crawler go up and evacuating the rest of the drones over to the right side of the map, where he's hoping to do a counterattack right now with Ultralisk, Zerglings, and Infestors just running around. Hopefully we'll be able to take out this planetary fortress, use those Infestors to stop the SCVs from mass repairing. A very nice round by LiquidZenio is actually going to be able to take that out. We do have a drop of Vikings going on up in the 5th or 6th or 7th something base of LiquidZenio, being able to take out a lot of drones over there. In the meantime, we're down here at the 6th or 7th base of EmpireKas. We do see this planetary fortress is indeed going to go down. These Vikings now just peeling away at whatever is on the ground, actually doing quite a bit of damage at quite a bit amount of time. 12 damage every 1 weapon speed. I don't know exactly what that comes out to be. We do have tanks and Marines pushing on this 4th base down here, right below the main of LiquidZenio as well. It looks like LiquidZenio may be beginning to fall apart here. We do have this large army of Ultralisk and Infestors and Marines coming up behind the tank line. However, a nice stim pick up with the medevac, and actually that medevac goes down, so no good there. And there's the GG from LiquidZenio. Very, very well played by both of these players. EmpireKas ending just a little bit ahead of Zenio. In the end, was just able to put on a little bit more harassment than Zenio could handle. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and I thank you very much for joining me here on the CoffeeCast. I'm going to go ahead and get up and stretch so I don't yawn through the entirety of the next game. Once again, this is a best of 5 series, which I'm only going to be showing 3 games from the IEM Global Challenge. My name is Coffee Break, and until next time, I am signing off.